Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I know that I posted a reading video earlier today. For those of you who are new here, I do create collective reading videos and energy updates every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And those videos are posted at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But sometimes when I'm feeling a strong pull to create additional content, I will post other videos between those main readings. And that's what's happening here today. I actually really wasn't planning on posting this video, but my guides were really urging me to speak on something that I am referring to here as the gift of illumination. Now, I received those words, that phrase, gift of illumination, in a download as I was meditating. But as so often happens during these moments of downloading information, sometimes we can download information that others have downloaded as well and that already has been spoken about. So I did search on this term on Google and I found a little bit of information on this, although I've noticed that there isn't much information out there. So I really wanted to create this video to talk about what I'm calling here the gift of illumination, although I'm sure there are many other terms that could be used to describe this phenomenon, this ability that certain people have. This is how I'm choosing to describe it in this particular video, and I am setting the intention that this information will reach whoever may be grappling with some of the effects of having this particular spiritual gift or ability, because it can lead to some very confusing impacts, particularly on your interactions and the way that other people interact with you. But before I get into the information, I would like to first introduce myself to those of you who might be just now coming to the channel. If you are new, my name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. So, as I said in the intro of this video, we're going to be talking about the gift of illumination. In order to have the gift of illumination, you must first be someone who has undergone a very intense illumination process yourself. So I will be getting into specific signs that you have this gift, specifically 5 signs that you have the gift of illumination. But first, I really wanted to talk about the origin of this particular gift, because having the gift of illumination involves a very intense soul process that I could call a sort of energetic purification that is really meant to forcibly bring to the surface any of your own shadow elements for the purpose of healing them and clearing them out. Now, the thing about these shadow elements is many of these shadows are not only deeply unconscious, but might actually be extremely subconscious, meaning shadows that could be specific forms of mind programming that you have picked up throughout lifetimes, previous lifetimes. These also could be specific energetic blockages that you as a soul chose to take on in this particular incarnation in order to heal, in order to shift out those particular blockages of energy. So most of us do not typically consciously remember any, or at least usually not all of these deeper soul intentions, those energetic blockages we might take on as a soul for this lifetime, etc. Which is why I'm saying that some of these shadows can be very, very subconscious. Someone who has the gift of illumination is typically extremely self-aware from a very young age and very self-analytical. In fact, people who have this gift may actually, from a young age, have been extremely hard on themselves. They may come off to other people as someone who is very self-critical, self-judgmental, someone who may struggle to love themselves early in life because the shadows that you choose to either take on or that you develop through traumas, through negative human experiences in this lifetime are not only very intense, but very much pushed to the surface. Someone who is meant to have and share this particular gift with the world will essentially not be allowed to keep any of their shadows in the subconscious realm. So most people who incarnate here on earth will not choose to make all of their shadows conscious in a lifetime. They will choose to keep many of these patterns and shadow aspects, as I'm calling them, very much buried within themselves for the purpose of living a what you might call easier or more effortless sort of life experience that is perhaps more on the surface is one way we could look at it, but we also there's no, in those words, on the surface judgment for particular life paths that other souls choose, because many people will actually intentionally as a soul choose to have a lifetime that is much more quote unquote on the surface for the purpose of resting, of gaining particular pieces of information before moving on to that next lifetime. So we don't all come here with the same kinds of purposes or intentions, and there's no lesser or more than kinds of comparisons in any of those varieties of intentions that we have here as souls. But if you are resonating with this idea of the gift of illumination, you are someone who did not come here to live life on the surface, at that surface level. And other people not only will have seen you as being someone who's very introspective, self-analytical, and possibly as a result of that self-judgmental, but also someone who has a lot of depth. You are someone who thinks very deeply about everything, particularly matters pertaining to the self, to your life, to your purpose. And again, this is just the mental effect that occurs when you are constantly having your own shadow aspects pushed up to the surface over and over again. It's almost like you are constantly in motion as an energetic being, like churning up these shadow aspects, healing them, processing them out, almost like my guides are giving me the energy of like an air purifier, purifying energy, but you are transmuting these shadows. Now, I know we've talked a lot about the heavier aspects to being someone with the gift of illumination, but there are some extremely positive aspects to this gift as well. Often, although those who have the gift of illumination tend to have a very challenging start as they begin in life to experience the churning up of these shadow aspects, which is often very overwhelming, particularly in those early stages of awakening. But over time, as you get a handle on this process of transmuting energy, you truly have the power of alchemy. And when we talk about being an alchemist, it's really about being able to transmute those shadow aspects into light, which renders you a very powerful manifester. So often, once those who have the gift of illumination learn to really harness these abilities to transmute shadow into light, they actually begin to learn how to transmute energy, thought, vision into physical reality. They are very powerful transmutators or manifestors, however you really want to define that. So it's almost like they experience both the highs and lows of the human experience, both the depths of the shadow and the radiance and brilliance of the light. And everything that they touch or perceive also carries much more vividness to those who have this gift. In fact, from some perspective, you could say that those who have the gift of illumination are perceiving everything, emotions, the world, everything that they are sensing, picking up through their physical senses or through their emotions, which we could also call a physical sense. Anything that they are perceiving is being perceived with so much vividness. This also might cause people around them to feel as though sometimes they overreact to the negatives or overreact to the positives. This is because those with this gift are simply experiencing everything, the depths and the heights, to a greater degree. Now, again, this comes with both light and dark aspects, so to speak. And if you've connected with this video so far, it's very likely that you yourself have experienced both some of the darker and the lighter aspects of this. But I do want to talk about these 5 signs that you have the gift of illumination, besides what we've talked about with the usual origins of this gift. These signs are actually more so centered around the way in which other people might react to you or interact with you. The first sign that you have the gift of illumination is that you will find others will share deeply intimate or personal details about their life, particularly details pertaining to the shadow within them or the shadow that they experience. The word confess, or like coming clean, is coming out here, but that's just because other people will want to show to you their shadows. It's like they will want you to know those depths within themselves, their own pain, their own hardship. And this will even happen at times with people who are complete strangers. For this reason, very often those who have this gift find themselves absorbing or taking on a lot of the pain of other people. And this part of being someone who is spiritually maturing with the gift of illumination, part of getting a handle on this gift, and a very essential part of it, is learning to be able to set those energetic boundaries with others, because of the way in which many other people will subconsciously recognize when they interact with you that you are able to transmute shadow into light. Now, of course, this usually isn't happening at the conscious level for them. It's very subconscious. They intuitively can sense that you are someone who can actually transmute shadow into light. So others will tend to share their shadows with you. In fact, because we are all connected in this web of collective consciousness, very often souls who are dealing with a lot of darkness or heaviness or pain will actually energetically call you into their human life experience for the purpose of having some kind of shadow within them transmuted into light. So you may even have chance encounters or interactions with strangers or people that you meet where it seems as though something about that meeting was predestined. There might be a lot of synchronicity around it, but the purpose of many of these meetings is because these souls can sense in this giant interconnected web of collective consciousness that you are someone who has the ability to transmute their shadow into light energy. Now, another kind of side element, a sort of a side here to this first sign, is that if someone is at a lower level of spiritual consciousness and they do share these shadow aspects of themselves with you, sometimes they will do so almost accidentally without realizing what they're doing or what they're saying. So others can sometimes feel as though they overshared with you, and they might actually pull away because their human, logical self starts wondering, why did I just share so much information with this person? I barely know them, etc. These types of thoughts can run through their mind, and they may actually share very heavy, dark, or intense personal details and then suddenly pull away almost out of embarrassment or feeling like it's illogical that they gave you so much information. So the second sign that you have the gift of illumination is that you can unconsciously, or sometimes consciously as well, recognize shadow in others. Part of this is because of that soul training you've undergone yourself in this lifetime, where you have had to, of necessity, transmute so much of your own shadow that you've become very skilled at being able to identify shadow aspects in other people, even if they don't vocalize those shadow aspects. So, of course, we know that people who are adept at reading energy are capable of picking up on things that the other person may have not told them. This is a specific variation of that psychic gift where a lot of what you pick up from other people tends to be related to their trauma, their shadow, or their hardship. So you are naturally intuitive, but your specialization is being able to pick up or identify things about what that person has gone through, shadow aspects of their life or their past that they haven't yet told you. For example, you might be speaking with someone and it just pops into your mind that this person has gone through a particular type of trauma or hardship. And then later on, that same person might confirm to you that they did in fact go through something of that nature. And it might be something that you even have in the past dismissed or just thought was a coincidence, but it's not a coincidence. You are actually picking up on those shadows within others because you yourself have gone through the process of illuminating your own shadows. And simultaneously, when you are in the presence of others, your light is casting their shadow in a more intense way that becomes easier to pick up on. So that really leads me into sign number 3, that you have the gift of illumination, which is because of the way that your light so starkly casts the shadow of others, you may actually find that others simultaneously will be drawn magnetically to the essence of your light, while at the same time being a bit intimidated by you. So this intimidation can show itself in many forms, but very often this looks like someone feeling this desire to connect with you, to be in your energy, to speak with you, but then at the same time, pulling away, withdrawing from you, maybe going silent for periods of time. This can lead to someone with the gift of illumination getting a lot of mixed signals from other people, whether it's friends platonically or in romantic situations, because these mixed signals on the surface are reflecting the internal conflict that they are unconsciously experiencing within themselves. Specifically, this conflict between the part of them that so desperately desires to be so clearly and fully seen in the way that you see them, and the other part of them that is afraid to see themselves so clearly, which leads me into sign number 4. You have the gift of illumination, which is simply that other people feel deeply and clearly seen in your presence. And at times, they may even vocalize this to you. So it may be a theme through some of your life, your friendships, your relationships, where once you get talking with someone, they will tell you that they feel like you understand them better than anyone. They feel like you really get them in a way that most people don't get them, or in a way that most people would judge them or misunderstand them. And again, that really feeds back into sign number 3, where that will be very addicting to them, feeling like they are being so seen by you. But simultaneously, for someone who is still living very unconsciously and is afraid to fully see all of their own shadows, it can be terrifying to be in the presence of someone who actually casts those shadows in such a stark and intense way. And finally, sign number 5, you have the gift of illumination, is that you've actually been planted in some very dark spaces, places, and environments. Now, this isn't necessarily a requirement for having this gift. If you resonate with the other 4 signs, it's incredibly likely that you do have the gift of illumination. But it is very common for people with this ability to illuminate, to spiritually choose as a soul to be planted in particular environments, family dynamics, places, systems, cultures, etc., where there is a great deal of shadow, a great deal that needs to be illuminated, brought to the light, brought to the surface. And those with the gift of illumination often have that beautiful, rebellious spirit that says, I am going to bring to the light all of these shadows, all of these unconscious aspects. I'm going to air out the dirty laundry here, so to speak. And for this reason, they are often then rejected by those particular places, spaces, environments, etc., because of the way that they do bring those unconscious dynamics that some people are not ready to face to the surface. If you are someone who has been resonating with the majority of this information and you've made it this far, it is very likely that you do have this particular soul specialty, this gift of illumination. And as I mentioned earlier in this video, those who have the gift of illumination particularly tend to struggle with taking on a lot of the pain from other people. This is because we, having gone through so much shadow ourselves, are able to so clearly see and, in a sense, empathize with these shadow aspects in other people. So because of this empathic absorption that you will be experiencing as someone with this gift, it is so essential to find tools that work for you as daily energetic hygiene, daily energy clearing practices, whether that's breath work, getting out into nature, exercising, moving your body, nourishing yourself, whatever that is for you personally. Now, in my experience, I found that meditating with subliminals has been for me the most powerful tool and resource that I have used to clear out my energy and also to direct that energy into channels, avenues, visions of things that I desire in order to manifest. I started using subliminals a few years ago, and since then I have seen radical changes and transformations in all areas of my life. Prior to that point, I had tried other forms of manifestation, other types of techniques to manifest, but nothing has worked as powerfully for me as subliminals. And this is because subliminals are actually targeted to the subconscious parts of the mind. And the subconscious makes up 95% of our thoughts, which of course, those of us who are into the law of attraction know that our thoughts then generate a kind of energy that attracts back to us the things that we are attempting to manifest, the things that we desire. So reprogramming your subconscious mind through meditating with subliminals is a really powerful way to shift the balance of your own energy equation and make yourself magnetic for the things you desire in life. I have created and am now sharing my own personal library of subliminals through my app, Sound and Soulful. It's now available in both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, so you can search for the app there. You can also follow the link in the pinned comment and description box under the video to download the app directly. On this app, I have over 130 subliminals for all areas of life. So there are subliminals for the mind to shift your mood, to manifest specific desires related to relationships, related to your physical body, etc. And when you create a 7-day free trial account in the app, you can try out any subliminal I've created completely free. You can also create unlimited numbers of your own custom private playlists. So if you are interested in trying out my subliminals, again, I will be leaving the link to my app, Sound and Soulful, in the pinned comment and description box under the video. Specifically, for those of you connecting with having the gift of illumination, I would most highly recommend starting with my subliminal for 7 chakra clearing. And this is one that I have used every single day for years. It's very comprehensive in clearing out any potential energy blockages stored within these 7 chakras. Again, utilizing the subconscious mind for this energy clearing practice. So all of that information about the app is linked under the video. Of course, if you are resonating with the energy here, I do also invite you to subscribe to the channel, join our beautiful community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I would love to hear from you in the comments if you have the gift of illumination, if you've experienced any of these signs outlined in the video. Otherwise, I am sending you all so much love today. Have a beautiful remainder of your evening or day, and I will connect with you here again in the next video.